Hello, my name's Teacher David Adam and you're watching another episode of Fresh Off the Press English. Today we're looking at love. This news comes from Yahoo. It's about a man in Australia who broke out of lockdown to go and see his girlfriend. Let's look at the headline. Lovelorn Aussie is first jailed for breaking virus quarantine. Lovelorn. Lovelorn basically means you're in love. You've got those feelings of love. You love somebody, you miss them. Here, he's so lovelorn that he breaks the law. He's lovelorn. He loves his girlfriend. Aussie. Aussie. An Aussie is somebody from Australia. We can call them an Aussie. Hello, oh, you're an Aussie. Hi, I'm from Australia. I'm an Aussie. I'm an Aussie, somebody from Australia. An Australian who repeatedly sneaked out of coronavirus quarantine, reportedly to visit his girlfriend, was jailed for a month. Repeatedly. Repeatedly, meaning again and again. He didn't just break out once, he broke out a couple of times. Repeatedly, again and again. Sniଃkt. Sniଃkt. If you sneak somewhere, it means you go very quietly or secretly. You don't want someone to know what you're doing, so you sneak quietly and secretly. Sniଃkt. Jonathan David, 35, was arrested earlier this month after jamming open a fire escape and slipping out of mandatory quarantine. Arrested. Arrested. This is when the police come and they take you to prison or jail. They arrest you. You are under arrest. This is what happens if you do something very, very bad. You will be arrested, meaning they grab you and take you somewhere to stop you from going outside again. You are arrested. Usually to prison or to a jail. Jamming. Jamming. Now, jamming in this situation, in this context, jamming is he's jamming the door open. He means he's put something in the door to stop it from closing. He's jammed it open. He's put something in the door to hold it there. He's jamming open a fire escape. Jamming. Mandatory. Mandatory. Or some people say mandatory. Mandatory. In general conversation, people will just say mandatory. 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 Rather than saying mandatory. So we're looking at 3 syllables in general conversation. Mandatory, mandatory. But if you're talking more officially, you might say it's mandatory, maybe using 4 syllables. This word means it's something we must do. It's something you must do. It's mandatory. You have no choice. You have to do this. It's mandatory. Again, we can say it in 3 syllables or 4 syllables. Mandatory, mandatory. It's like comfortable and comfortable. People normally say comfortable. Or another word would be restaurant. Restaurant. Normal native speakers will say restaurant, but if you're learning English, if you're actually learning real English, how they teach it, in a book, it will say restaurant instead of restaurant. Here we're saying mandatory instead of mandatory. Means you must do something. I would say it's not mandatory to say mandatory with 4 syllables. You can just say it with 3. Mandatory. He told Perth's Magistrates court that he first flouted the law to get food, but hours later broke quarantine again because he missed his girlfriend. Magistrates. Magistrates. Now a magistrate is somebody who decides the law, somebody who decides if you have broken the law. Normally if somebody has broken a small law, not a very serious crime, he will go and see a magistrate, go to magistrates court. It's a place where we take people who have broken a not so serious law to a magistrates. Flouted. Flouted. Now he broke the law here, but if we want to say we're not following something or we don't really care, we can flout something. It means we don't follow it, we ignore it in a way, we just don't care about it, we flout it. Here he's flouted the law. It means he's not followed the law. It's a funny word, just meaning to ignore something, not care about something. Basically he's broken the law, but we're using the word flouted to make it sound less serious. Flouted. Quarantine. Quarantine. Of course, this is the word that we're all living in. We all live in quarantine. When was the last time you went outside? I can go and sit in my garden, but I know a lot of people in the world don't have that choice. They are in quarantine. They are stuck inside their homes. I've not seen my family for weeks now, for many weeks, maybe 4 weeks now. I've not seen my parents or my brothers because of the quarantine. I can't go outside. Let's look at today's vocabulary, the words from the lesson. Lovelorn. Lovelorn. Aussie. Aussie. Repeatedly. Repeatedly. Sniଃkt. Sniଃkt. Ǝ'restid. Ǝ'restid. ʔæmɪŋ. ʔæmɪŋ. Mandatory. Mandatory. Magistrates. Magistrates. Flouted. Flouted. Quarantine. Quarantine. Write down these words and remember them. These are useful words when, well, nowadays when we want to talk about the current situation with our lives. People are becoming tired of the quarantine and more people will be sneaking out and flouting the law, which is mandatory though. It's mandatory that we follow for our own safety. It's difficult news to understand because I'm not a doctor, but it's kind of funny. It seems funny to me now, but of course people are still dying from this terrible virus that's killing people around the world. It's a sad fact, but people will flout it, and I think probably more and more people in the days to come will be flouting the law because it just gets tiring. I'm very tired of it as well at the moment. It's difficult to accept it without some idea for the future. We're not sure when this is going to end. We don't know when our lives can go back to normal, if they can. It's that aspect, the fact I can't see when it will finish, that bothers me the most. Let me know how you are doing in the quarantine. It's good to talk. I think it helps everybody to just let it out. Tell me how you feel. As always, please subscribe, share the content with other people who want to learn English. These lessons are up to date and they are about the world around us now. So if you want to speak English to people in real conversations, these are the classes you need to share and practice using to make sure that your English is up to date. As always, thank you for watching. I hope I can see you again for another interesting news story from around the world. Don't be bored, be busy. Bye bye.